Welcome back to the Spirits, the Waters, and the Blood. Most definitely, I'm happy to be here today on this Sabbath. Hope everyone is having a beautifully blessed one. Shalom Aleichem Mishpacha. Peace be unto you, family. Today I'm here to address a couple of issues. Well, not issues per se. I just wanted to cover I just wanted to cover the book of Job today. But before I first do, I want to thank the Father, Yahweh, for giving me the opportunity to be here today in order to share information and for His will, His fame, His name, His glory, His ancientness, most ancient of days. Atik Yomin, most ancient of days. Again, Thabara Yahweh, Bahashem Hamashiach Yahushua, Uvain Barakata Ruach Kodashecha, Elo Yakalet Latir, most definitely. Gotta give thanks. Yahuwah Hitar. Okay. I want to go back a little bit because I did a video on Tetragrammaton, and I also did. I skimmed at the book that I'm gonna actually cover today, but just keeping it on track. With the Tetragrammaton, I was telling you it was the other ones that promote evil, and other ones that promote. Actually stands for the Father's name without the pagan symbols that's thrown in, such as the Eye of Horus, which is actually the iron, but they took it in, Satanists took it and tried to make it mean something that it doesn't mean. Alright, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and kind of jump right into it. And basically, like I said before, the Tetragrammaton is just the Father's name and His glory. Make me a little. What's going on? Try to make me a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go. I'll leave it at that. Cool. Alright, so with that being said, the Tetragrammaton is the representation of the Father's holy name. And this is the form of the Tetragrammaton that I was looking for last time. And basically, it has the 72 names of the Father, what we address Him by in the outer realm, and then on the inner realm of what some people call the Star of David or whatever. But this is the representation of a pomegranate. Remember, the pomegranate. You still have the elements that's affiliated at the corners of the Tetragrammaton, and then we have 6 points in this particular one, opposed to 5 that's in the pagan one or the Satanist one. Basically, you have the Yod, Yod He Wah, Yod He Wah He, and Yahweh is His name. And if you're looking for any type of magic, or looking for something spiritual, or if you're looking for anything that could actually bring forth any type of peace in your life, protection, what have you, then basically you would want to look towards this one right here. This particular Tetragrammaton, like I said before, represents the 72 names of the Father, and is going all around the outer circumference of the Tetragrammaton. And then, actually, I won't call it the Tetragrammaton. This is actually the Father's true name inside of the pomegranate. The pomegranate fruit. The pomegranate fruit. And if you look at the pomegranate fruit when it's budding, it has the little sprouts that stick out of it. Those little sprouts actually represent the Father's name. And then on the inside, they say that the pomegranate fruit actually has 613 seeds in it, which would represent the 613 seeds in it, which will represent the 613 laws, statutes, and commandments that we're supposed to follow. Even to this day, it hasn't been done away with. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and go into the reason why I came in here for. So if you get a Tetragrammaton or a pendulum, that represents the Father's name, this is sufficient. Like I said before, no pagan symbols, all Hebraic writing. So let's go ahead and go into the reason why I'm here. Today we're going to talk about, or I'm going to give a little bit of insight to the book of Job. A lot of individuals don't really understand what the book of Job was all about. I've seen different videos with them saying that the book of Job is supposed to represent, how the book of their opinion of the book of Job was that the book of Job just shows how people can actually be, or good people can suffer. The Father allowed good people to suffer, and basically, that's not true. The book of Job, well, I'll give my thesis at the end. Okay, so therefore we're going to go ahead and proceed with the book of Job, and I'm reading from Bible Hub, and I just chose Bible Hub. I can read it from any Bible that I want, or any biblical source that I want, with the different Bibles in there or not. So Bible Hub, and I'm in King James, the King James Bible chapter, Job's chapter, character and wealth. And with that, we see there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that the man was perfect and upright, and one that feared Elohim and shrewd evil, meaning he stayed away from evil and he feared the Father. He did what the Father said. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels and 500 yoke of oxen and 500 she-asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East. And I've stipulated that when it says that he was the greatest of all the men of the East, it was basically saying he was the greatest of all the sons of the East. And let's go to the lexicon, and it gives a breakdown on it, the sons of the East. Again, we're still in Job 1:1, and there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man he walked up strong to his shore or his Shabbat, and everything, like he was blameless, okay, and upright, fearing Elohim and turning away from evil, Let's go to the next. Now, Job 1, 3 daughters were born. 7. Or should I just go ahead and get straight to? He was the greatest cinnamon of the East. He possessed. I think I went a little too far. Let's go down, I guess. Okay. All of his possessions. All right. All the men of the East. And then when you look at all of the men of the East, it has Benaiah right there. So then when you click on to Benaiah, and then which means son, and it gives it masculine noun, a son. One of the sons that worshiped Yahweh and kept his law, statutes, and commandments. All right, then we go to the abbreviations: afflicted, age, aliens, Ammonites. Pay attention to this word right here. Anointed. He was one of the sons of the East, was one of the anointed ones of the East. And as I go through the story of Job, I'll basically be able to give a thorough breakdown, or I'll be able to show how him being anointed and his process, and how I could come up with that opinion. It's something else that I'm looking for, but it's not imperative, but I'll go ahead and keep going anyway. I'll keep trying to find this one particular point. Sons of thy father, brethren. My son as a term of kindness or endurement used by Eliah to Samuel. Okay, that's still not what I am looking for. Salakia. I mean, I really didn't plan on going into this today, but I felt compelled to just to give um, a clear understanding, a bright understanding of Job. And what I'm looking for is assertion J, and it was C and J, and then membership in a nation or a family. Membership in a nation or family. He was an Israelite. Okay? So now we go back to where I left off. Alright. And the substances that Job says, hold on, okay, let's go back. Alright, here we go. His substance also was 7,500 she asses in a very great household. A very great household, meaning he had a lot of family and love and servants and everything. He was one of the greatest. He was well known and loved. And and household. So that this man was the greatest of all the sons of the anointed of the east. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone on his day. So they're considered a son of the Elahiah. The sons and his sons, basically, he was considered a son of the Elahiah, and by them keeping the covenant and staying truthful to the Father's word, they were considered sons of Elahiah. And his sons went and fasted in their houses, everyone on his day. He had 7 sons, and all of them fasted, or feasted. Salathia feasted. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone on his day. So they was holding a feast, and he had 7 sons. So he had 7 days worth of feast. All right. So now I'm gonna pause right there and go to Exodus 12, verse 14. All right. Salathia. The feast of unleavened bread. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to Yahweh throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by ordinances forever. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. All right, 7 sons and a feast for Yahweh. Yeah, feast to Yahweh throughout your generations. So 7 sons, and each son had a feast in their house on their day. So basically, they were having a they were actually having a feast days. And whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel, or cut off from your people. And in the first day there shall be a holy congregation, and in the first day there shall be an holy congregation, meaning the sons of God went to go talk and present themselves to Yahweh. All right, so I'm not going to beat this one over the head. I mean, that's evident. I'm going to go ahead and go back to Job. Now, back in Job. And it was when the days of their feasting were gone about that Job set and sacrificed them and rose up early in the morning. He sacrificed some animals for his children early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all, his sons. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed Elohai in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. I mean, he did this up, all the way through. All right, so now let's go to what verses. We're in Job 1 and 5. Let's go to Job 1 and 5 in the Lexiconus. Salafi. One verse 5. When the days of feasting had completed their cycle, Job would sitting up early in the morning and offering burnt offerings. Let's go back. When the days of the feasting had completed their cycle, Job would sin and consecrate again them, raising up early in the morning and offering burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, perhaps my sons have sinned and cursed Elohai in their hearts, not out loud, in their hearts. His sons may have cursed Elohai in their hearts. Thus Job did continually. All right, so now let's go right here where it says consecrate. We consecrated, to be set apart or consecrated. Let's look at consecrated again. Kodesh, to be set apart or consecrated. To be set apart or consecrated. Become consecrated. Consecrate. Consecrated. Consecratedis. Consecration. Declare holy. Declared holy. Dedicate. Dedicated. Dedicating. Holier. Holy. Keep. Keep it holy. Keep the holy. Made it holy. Made it holy. Manifest my holiness, prepared, prove myself holy, proved himself holy, purified, regarded as holy, consecrated now, regarded as holy, sacrificed, sacrifices, sanctified or sanctified, set them apart, consecrate, set apart, show himself holy, set apart the consecrated, separated from the rest of the heathen, transmit holiness. Remember, we got a family, the men of the East, the sons of the East. Treat me as holy, treated as holy, vindicated the holiness, wholly dedicated. And all right, just in case you don't get the point, be set apart, consecrated, hallowed, of shrewd beard. Aaron and his sons by blood were consecrated. Be hallowed by contact with sacrificed things and so tabooed from profane use, fortified to sanctuary. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and keep moving. All right, so now we see that his children, through Job doing this sacrifice for his children, he was actually them holy, which they would be considered sons of God. Check out my Sons of Elohim or Sons of God or Sons of Elohim video. Angel was ever called my son by Elohim or Elohai. He never called an angel my son. Never. Hebrews 1, no, I know this is Hebrews, yeah, 1:4 through verse 5. I mean, I won't look at it now. Check out my Sons of Elohim video. And for the Father's sake, just like, share, subscribe, please. I'm asking and I'm saying please in the Father's name, Yahweh Bahashem, Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, Uvein Barakata Ruach Kodasheka, that you like, share, subscribe, or at least like. I mean, I'm not, when you hit the like icon, it doesn't send money to me out of your bank account. It doesn't send money to YouTube out of your bank account. It's free. But anyway, I'm going to keep on going. All right, so let's go back to the King James Version because I can keep fluently reading it. Then, that's the continually. Satan's first attack. Now, there was a day when the sons of God, Job and his children in the congregation, that they were going to hold a holy congregation unto the Lord, came to present themselves before Yahweh. And they didn't go to heaven to do this. They did this on the earth. And Satan came also along with them. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job? Now the Father just took Job and was like, have you considered him? Have thou considered my servant Job? And then, and Yahweh said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth? None like him in the earth. He's the greatest son of the east, and perfect and upright man. The Father says that Job is a perfect and upright man, one that feareth me, or feareth Elohim, and shrews evil. He stays away from evil. Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, Does Job fear Elohim for naught? Meaning, like, does he have a reason? I mean, you giving him a lot, a favor. So does he have a reason to fear for not, having anything? Hast thou made an hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Meaning he has a lot of things. He's blessed. The Father just made him blessed. He was the greatest of all the men of the east. But put forth thy hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. Now Satan, the enemy says this, that Job, the accuser, says that Job will curse him to his face if you take all this stuff away. And I'm gonna stop right here for a second. Okay. When I first read the book of Job, it touched me deeply, because I felt like that was me. I've been through some turmoil in life that I actually have a regular person not here. I'm gonna just put it like that. And I'm gonna say that throughout the trial and tribulations, I felt like Job, and I took this particular story to heart and never would backtrack it, because Job actually, it stirred up some painful moments in my life. And I came to the realization, and the reason I'm just going to say the Spirit, the Ruach Kodesh, or the Ruach Kodesh, moved me in a way to where that I was able to understand where I was going wrong and why I was attacked the way that I did. I was in all means of Job. So, and basically, I'm not going to say what my problem is, because it's fixed now. But as far as Job, I won't give up. I won't let individuals know. I won't give the answer prematurely. So I'm gonna keep on pushing. All right. So let's trying to get this screen correct. So I'll Miss Park. But let's go back to sharing the screen. All right. So now. And Yahweh said unto him, Behold, all that he hath is in thy hand, in thy power. Only upon himself put no forth thy hand. I mean, don't hurt him. So the accuser went forth from the presence of Yahweh. Job loses his children and property, so therefore he goes through and, all right. And there was a day when the sons of Eliam and his daughters, there was a day when his sons, Job's sons, which are the sons of Eliam, and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. So keep in mind, this is a feast that's going on for a week, 7 days. Passover, huh? And feast of unleavened bread. All right. And there came a messenger unto Job and said, the oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding behind them, and the sea beams fell upon them, and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Okay, so basically, a servant came while they was eating and drinking and being merry, and then all of a sudden, some property came, and his livestock got killed. Then it goes a little bit further. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the fire of Eliah is fallen from heaven, and hath burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the Chaldeans made out of 3 bands and fell upon the camels and have carried them away. Yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, killed them. Servants with the end of the sword. I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was speaking, another one came in, and he said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in the eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon them. It fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. What did Job do? Then Job arose and rent his mantle, and shaved his head, cut all his hair off, and fell down upon the ground and worshipped during a time of pure, utter tragedy. I'm telling you, I felt Job to the end. He fell down on his knees and worshiped, and said, naked came out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return to thither. Yahweh gave, and Yahweh have taken away. Blessed be the name of Yahweh. In all this Job sinned not, nor charged Eliah foolishly. So we see that he didn't say nothing. He just took them lumps. He dropped down on his knees and he praised him, and he was just like, the Father gives and the Father takes. And again, so a second time, there was a day when the sons of Eliah came to the presence, or came to present themselves before Yahweh, and the accuser came along with them to present himself before Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto the accuser, For whence comest thou? And the accuser answered Yahweh and said, from going to and fro, basically the same thing. And Yahweh said unto the accuser, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth? Again now, a perfect and upright man. The Father saying it again, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth Elohiah and shrews from evil, stays away from evil, and still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. See, Job technically didn't do anything, but he felt a certain kind of way. So he's perfect, right? And yeah, to destroy him without cause. And it reads, and the accuser answered Yahweh and said, skin for skin, yea, all that man hath, will he give for his life? But put forth thy hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. And Yahweh said unto the accuser, behold, he is in thine hands, but save his life, meaning don't kill him. So went the accuser forth from the presence of Yahweh and smote Job with sores, boils, from the sole of his foot unto the crown, until his crown, the crown of his head. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then his wife came and said something to him. Let's see what she said. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thy integrity? Curse Elohiah, and die. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of Elohiah, and shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. Job did not sin with his lips. All right, so now we're going to kind of bounce past it. His friends come over, and when they first get there, they do what friends are supposed to do. They stay their place. They kind of, don't push on him. They let him get his, go ahead and mourn. Now when Job 3 friends heard of all of the evil that was come upon him, they came everyone from his own place. Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zippor the Naamathite, for they had made an appointment together to come to mourn with him and comfort him. And when they lifted up their eyes afar off and knew him not, they lifted up their voice and wept. And they rent everyone his mantle, and sprinkled dust upon their heads towards the heavens. So they sat down with him upon the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and none spake a word unto him, for they saw that his grief was very great. So his friends come over there and they sit down, and they're not saying nothing. They feel his pain. They understand that's what true people that don't carry a demonic spirit or have a spirit that kind of hinders empathy, meaning caringness, they wouldn't have taken it like that. They wouldn't have felt that. They would have been apathetic, meaning they wouldn't have, like I just said, they wouldn't have felt that. Their pain, Job still wouldn't have, they wouldn't have known Job's pain. All right. Job laments his birth. All right, Job laments his birth. And basically he goes through and he curses the day that he was born. He's just feeling really, really bad. You can go back and read it, Job 3, if you like. But, I'm trying to keep going through Job, because Job is relatively long. All right. For the thing which I have greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came. Like he wasn't doing anything, and he just was hit. All right, so let's push a little further. Job 4 verse 1. All right, well, Eliphaz the innocent and prospered. All right, then Eliphaz the Temanite. All right, so then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, if we essay to commune with thee, wilt thou be grieved? But who can withhold himself from speaking? Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. Thou words have upheld him that was fallen, and thou hast strengthened the feeble knees. But now it is come upon thee, and thou faintest. It touches thee, and thou art troubled. Is not thy fear thy confidence, thy hope, and thou uprightness of thy ways? Remember, I pray thee, whoever perishes or perished, being innocent, or were the righteous cut off. So basically, he's saying that you had to do something. You had to do something. Even as I've seen they plow iniquity, and sow wickedness, reap the same. I mean, he done seen some people that deserve it, or now I'm gonna say deserve it, get it. But the blast of Elahiah, they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed. The roaring of the lion, the voice of the fierce lion, and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perishes for lack of prey, and thou shalt lions' whelps are scattered abroad. Now a thing was secretly brought to thee, or brought to me, and mine ears received a little thought thereof. Salafi. In thoughts for the visions of the night, when deep sleep falleth on men, fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all of my bones shake. Then a spirit passed before my eye face. The hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before mine eyes. There was silence, and I heard a voice saying, shall mortal men be more just than Elahiah? Hold on. Shall mortal men be more just than Ahiah? You hear that? That's another clue. Shall a man be more pure than his maker? Behold, he put no trust in his servants and his angels and his messengers. He put no trust in his servants and his messengers. He charged with folly. He much less in them that dwell in a house of clay, whose foundation is the dust, which are crushed before the moth. They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish ever without any regarding it. Do not their excellence which is in them go away? They die, even without wisdom. They die, even without wisdom. Job 5. Eliphaz continues, and he's basically saying the same thing, like something, you did something. And even those that are more, should they declare themselves more uprighteous than the Father. And I'm going through each page to make sure that I'm trying to make sure I have all areas covered as I keep going, just to give a thorough breakdown of what the understanding of Job was. So far we see that how individuals get the perception that good things happen to bad people for nothing, but all the anointed ones are saying, look, man, this happened because of something. Are you being honest with us? All right, Job replies, but Job now answers and says, oh, that my grief were thoroughly weighed. Although my grief were thoroughly weighed, and my calamity laid in the balance together, for now it would be heavier than the sands of the sea. Therefore my words are swallowed up. For the arrows of the Almighty are with me, the poisons whereof darkeneth up my spirit. The terrors of Elahiah do set themselves in array against me. Doth the wild ass bray when he hath grass, or loweth the ox over his fodder? Can that which is unsavory be eaten without salt, or is there any taste in the white of an egg? The things that my soul refused to touch are as my sorrowful meat. Oh, that I might have my request, and that Elahiah would grant me the thing that I long for, even that it would please Elahiah to destroy me, that he would let loose his hand and cut me off. Then should I have comfort ye? Comfort. Then should I yet comfort? Yea, I would hide myself in sorrow. Let him not spare, for I have not concealed the words of the Holy One. What is my strength that I should hope? And what is my end that I should prolong my life? Is my strength the strength of stones? Or is my flesh of brass? Is not my help in me? Is not my help in me? Is not my help in me? And is wisdom driven quiet from me? Another key. Is not my help in me? And is wisdom driven quiet from me? To him that is afflicted, pity should be shrewd from his friends, but he forsaketh the fear of the Almighty. My brethren have dealt deceitfully as a brook, and as the stream of brooks they pass away, which are blackish by reasons of the ice, and wherein the snow is hid. What time they wax warm, they vanish. When it is hot, they are consumed out of their place. The paths of their way are turned aside. They go to nothing and perish. The troops of Timnah looked. The companies of Sheba waited for them. They are confounded because they had hope. They had thither and were ashamed. For now ye are nothing. Ye see my casting down and are afraid. Did I say, bring unto me, or give a reward for me of your substances, or deliver me from the enemy's hand, redeem me from the hand of the mighty? Teach me, and I will hold my tongue, and cause me to understand wherein I have erred. Teach me, and I will hold my tongue. I'll shut up and listen to you. Teach me, and cause me to understand wherein I have erred. How forcibly are right words, but what doeth your arguing reprove? Do you imagine the reproved words and the speeches of the one that is desperate, which are as wind? Yea, ye overwhelm the fatherless, and ye dig a pit for your friend. Now therefore be content, look upon me, for it is evident unto you if I lie. Return, I pray you. Let it not be iniquity, yea, return again. My righteousness is in it. Is there iniquity in my tongue? Cannot my taste discern, preserve things? So again, he's saying, man, look, y'all saying all of this, but I'm righteous. I walked in the, I did what I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. All right, so then Job goes on a little bit more. All right, I mean, basically he's dropping clues as to what's going on in his life or how he feels inside. All right, we could go here. I have sinned. What shall I do unto thee, O thou preserver of men? Why hast thou set me as a mark against thee, so that I am a burden to myself? And why dost thou not pardon my transgressions, and take away my iniquity? For now shall I sleep in dust, and thou shalt seek me in the morning, but I shall not be. Meaning that he died in a night. He's asking him, please, if I sin, show me where. Please forgive me, O redeemers of men. And that's what I want to make sure or say, that Job should repent. He believed that he was wrong, or he still did something. Then answered about Baldad, the Shuhite, and said, how long wilt thou speak these things? And how long shall the words of thy mouth be like a strong wind? Doth Elahiah pervert judgment? Does Elahiah pervert judgment? Or doeth the Almighty pervert justice? If thy children have sinned against him, and have cast them away for their transgressions, if thou wouldest seek unto Elahiah betimes, and make thy supplications to the Almighty, if thou wert pure and upright, if thou were pure and upright, surely now he would have awakened, or surely now he would awake for thee, and make the habitations of thy righteousness prosper. Though thy being small, or though thy being was small, yet thy altar or thy latter end should greatly increase. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to search of their fathers. For we are but of yesterday, and know nothing. We are but of yesterday and know nothing. Because our days upon earth are shadows. Shall not they teach thee and tell thee and utter word out of their heart? Can the rush of grown up without mire? Can the flag grow without water? Whilst it is yet in its greenness, and not cut down, and where before any other herb, so are the plants of all that forgot Elahiah, and the hypocrites' hope shall perish, whose hope shall be cut off, and whose trust shall be a spider's web. He shall lean upon his house, but it shall not stand. He shall hold it fast, but it shall not endure. He is green before the sun, and his branch smooth forth in its garden. His roots are wrapped around, or his roots are wrapped about the heap, and seeth the places of the stone. If he destroy him from his place, then it shall deny him, saying, I have not seen thee, saying that I have not seen thee. Another clue. Behold, this is the joy of his way, and out of the earth shall others grow. Behold, Elahiah will not cast away a perfect man, neither will he help the evildoers, till he fill thy mouth with laughing, and thy lips with rejoicing, that they that hate thee shall be clothed with shame, and the dwelling place of the wicked shall come to naught. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and bounce to the next chapter. Basically, um, Job is expressing his feelings again. All right, Job's plea to Elahiah. I can read this. My soul is weary of my life. I will leave my complaint upon myself. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. My soul is weary of my life. I will leave my complaint upon myself. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. I will say unto Elahiah, do not condemn me. Shew me moreover thou contendest with me. Is it good unto thee that thou shouldest oppress, that thou shouldest despise the work of thy hands, that thou shalt despise the works of thy hands, and shine upon the counsel of the wicked? Meaning that his works. He was doing the law, statutes, and commandments. Hast thou eyes of flesh, or seen thou as men seeth? Are thy days as the days of man? Are thy years as man's days? That thou inquirest after mine iniquity, and searchest after my sin? Salafi it's a cat that's standing there. Over. Alright. Thou knowest that I am not wicked. Thou knowest that I am not wicked. Verse 7. Thou knowest that I am not wicked, and there is none that can deliver out of thine hand. Thy hands have made me and fashioned me together round about, yet thou destroyest me. Meaning you put me together, you made me who I am, then you took me apart, which he did. Remember, I beseech thee that I has made me as the clay. And wilt thou bring me into dust again? Hast thou not poured me out as milk, and curled me like cheese? Hast thou clothed me with skin and flesh, and hast fenced me with the bones, or with bones of sinews? Thou hast granted me life and favor, and thy visitations have preserved my spirit. And the things hast thou hid in mine heart, and the things hast thou hid in my heart. I know that it is with thee. If sin, then thou makest me, and thou wilt not acquire me from mine iniquity, and thou wilt not acquit me from my iniquity. If I be wicked, woe unto me. And if I be righteous, yet will I not lift my head up. I am full of confusion. Therefore see thou mine affliction. Now see thou my affliction, for it is increased. Thou hast me as a fierce lion, and again thou showest thyself marvelous upon me. Thou renewest thy witnesses against me, and increaseth thy indignations, and increases thine indignations upon me, charges me and war against me. Wherefore then hast thou brought me forth out of the womb? Oh, that I have given up the ghost, or my eyes had seen me, and no eye has seen me. Meaning he died at birth. I should have been as though I had not been. I should have been carried from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Cease then, and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little before I go whence I shall return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, and the land of darkness and the darkness itself, and of the shadow of death without any order, and where the light is as darkness. Okay, so then he comes, before rebukes Job, he comes against Job and he's telling him something, for thou hast my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in thine eyes. Basically, another clue. For thou hast said, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in thine eyes. But or that Elijah would speak and open up his lips against thee, meaning that he would have been challenged a long time ago. I mean, are you starting to get the picture of what Job's problem was or is? We're gonna go to another verse. I'm going chapter by chapter. This is probably going to take forever. Zipporah's response, and he said, it's one more clue that I want that's back here. I wish I'd have jotted it down where I read it, or I thought I would remember, but that didn't happen. I could just go ahead and speed it up. I'm not going to, Job does not fear Allah. I can speed it up, but I'm looking for this one thing before I just go ahead and jump over. And hopefully I can find it. And trust me, I'm reading as fast as I possibly can. And these chapters just keep going on. Job just going off. And basically, it's one more thing that I'm looking for before I get to, or just go ahead and jump. All right, men of God, sons of God. Because they'll keep going on them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for chapters. And keep going at Job, and they're trying to, like I said, the whole time they're saying that Job did something, and he's not acknowledging what he did, but they think he kind of understand, or they think he knows what he did, but he's just not saying what he did. And Job really, technically, he's sort of like, what you got, a psychopathic liar. They lie like a mug, but to them they're telling the truth. So Job is kind of, he knows, he doesn't, he knows, he feels what his problem is, but he doesn't see what his problem is. And that's like a spiritual thing to say right there. It's like, you know something is wrong, but you just don't know what is wrong. That makes sense too. It made sense to me, but anyway, I'm gonna keep going. All right, God will deal with the wicked. All right. And basically, he's saying that if I was wicked, then the Almighty would come against me and everything. So it's again, like I said before, I see how people try to say that. All right, they try to say in different things how good things happen to bad things happen to good people, and sometimes it's just like that. But no, it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress, and what's going on is that whatever good people that think they're good, and they just because they look like they're good don't mean that they're good. I'll say it like that. I think I'm getting close. And like I said before, I don't want to miss anything out of Job. And he even comes down to say that, just like that title said, Job responds. He longs for Elijah. He knows he needs it. And, he knows that he needs it. We are the wicked unpunished. Why are the wicked unpunished? All right. And then it goes into Job is talking about while the wicked go unpunished, some of them go unpunished, but some of them meet a horrible fate. And it goes on through the different situations. I could just go ahead and jump to it, but it's one thing that I'm looking for that I can't. Oh man, can I be righteous? All right, then Belas. All right, so Bildad, man cannot be righteous. Then answered Bildad the Shuhite, and said, Dominion and fear are with him. He maketh peace in his high places. Is there any number of his armies? Is there any number of his armies, and upon whom doth not has light arise? How then can man be justified with Elijah? Or how can he be clean that is born of a woman? Behold, even the moon, and it sinneth not. Yea, the stars are not pure in his sight. Oh, how much less man than is a worm, and the Son of Man, which is a worm. So he's like, you can't be righteous. So basically, the answer is, who can understand Elijah's majesty? And he goes on through the different attributes of Elijah or Yahweh. I hope I'm getting it close. I mean, well, I am getting close because I mean, once I hit the 30s, it's gonna be like, we'll be on the way. Job affirms his integrity. Moreover, Job continues his parable and says, "As Elihiah liveth, who hath taken away my judgment, and the Almighty who hath vexed my soul, all the while my breath is in me, and the spirit of Elihiah is in my nostrils. My lips shall not speak wickedness, nor my tongue utter deceit. Elihiah forbid that I should justify you till I die. I will not move mine integrity from me. My righteousness I hold fast, and I will not let it go. My heart shall not reproach. My heart shall not reproach me so long as I live. My heart shall not. My righteousness I hold fast, and I will not let it go. My heart shall not reproach me as long as I live. That's how he feels in his heart. His righteousness he holds fast. He feels that deeply in his heart. He's just not saying it. The state of the godless. The state of the godless. Let my enemy be as wicked, and he that rises up against me as the unrighteous, and he that rises up against me as the unrighteous. For what is the hope of the hypocrite, though he hath gained? When Elihiah take away his soul, will Elihiah hear his cry when trouble cometh upon him? Will he delight himself in the Almighty, and he also will call upon Elihiah? I will teach you the hand of Elihiah. That which is with the Almighty will I not conceal. Behold, behold, all ye yourselves have seen it. Why then are ye thus altogether vain? This is the portion of a wicked man with Elihiah, and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is from the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Those that remain of him shall be burned or buried in death, and his windows shall not weep. Though he heap up silver as the dust, and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. He buildeth his house as a moth, and as a boot that the keeper maketh. The rich man shall lie down, but he shall not be gathered. He openeth his eyes, and he is not. Terrors take hold on him as water. A tempest stealth him away in the night. A tempest stealths him in the way of the night, or away in the night. The east wind carrieth him away, and he departeth, and as a storm hurleth him out of his place. And Elihiah will cast upon him not spare. He will fain flee out of his hands. Men shall clap their hands at him, and shall hiss him out of his place. So again, my righteousness I will hold fast, and will not let it go. My heart shall not be reproached me as long as I live. It believes that he is so righteous. Alright, then he goes on to the earth's treasures. Let's skip that. Then Job's former blessings. Talk about everything that he had in the past. When I washed my steps with butter, and the rock poured me out rivers of oil. All of his past blessings. Then we go into Job 30. All right. Then Job's honor turned into contempt. All right. Now let's see what it says and when his honor turned into contempt. But now that that are oh, but now that I mean, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Yea, whereto might the stretch of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished, for want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. Who cut up marshmallows by the bush, and juniper juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men, and cried after them as afar a thief. To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they bear, they braid. Among the bushes they braid. Under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were violent than the earth. And now I am their song, yea, I am their byword. They abhor me, they flee far from me, and spare not to spit in my face. Because he hath loosened my cord and afflicted me, they have also let loose the bridle before me. Upon my right hand as hand rises the youth, they push away my feet, and they raise up against me the ways of their destruction. They mar my path, they set forth my calamity, they have no helper. They came upon me a wide breaking, as a wide breaking in the waters, and in the desolation they rolled themselves upon me. Job's prosperity became calamity. Terrors in turn. All right, so he's basically, I don't want to read this either, right there. My skin is black upon me. I like that. Hold on, let me read this one. Terrors are torn upon me. They pursue my soul as the wind, and my warfare passeth away as clouds. And now my soul is poured out upon me. The days of affliction have taken hold of me. My bones are pierced in me the night season, and my sinews take no rest. But by the great force of my disease is my garment charged. It bindeth me about as the collar of my my coat. Salakia, of my coat. He hath cast me into the mire, and I have become like dust and ashes. I cry unto thee, and thou didst not hear me. I stand up, and thou regardest me not. Thou art become cruel to me. Why thy strong hand, thou oppress thyself against me. Thou liftest me up to the wind. Thou cast me to ride upon it, and dissolves my substances. For I know that thou wilt bring me to death, and to the house appointed for all living. Howbeit he will not stretch out his hand to the grave. Howbeit he will not stretch out his hand to the grave. Though my cry in his destruction, did not I weep for him that was in trouble? Was not my soul grieved for the poor when I look for good? Then evil came unto me, and when I waited for light, there came darkness. My bowels boiled and rested, rested not. The days of affliction prevented me. Prevented me. I I went mourning without the sun. I went mourning without the sun. I stood up. And I cried in the con con congre- con, congregation. Duh. And I cried in the congregation. I am I am a brother to dragons and a companion to owls. My skin is black. I like that one. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat. My heart also is turned to mourning. My heart also is turned to mourning, and my organ into the voice of them that weep. I mean, he fought again. He's proclaiming. He's showing how he was doing everything that he was supposed to be doing. All right, then you got Job's final appeal right here. Salah. All right, then is there anything that I want to go through here? Not really. Take the time to read Job. It's really touching. And it's a lot of information that's in here, but the main reason as to why we're here is because of this right here. All right, like I said before, all the things that I've been pointing out, everything that I'm highlighting, keep it to memory. So these three men, so these three men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. So these three men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then was kindled the wrath of Elohim, the son of Barachel, the Bezite of the kindred of Ram. Against Job was his wrath kindled because he justified himself rather than Elohim. Because he justified himself rather than Elohim. Also against his three friends was his wrath kindled, because they had found no answer and yet had condemned Job. Meaning you did something, you did something, you did something. You just not saying what you did, what you do, what you do, what you do. But hold on, but what did he say? Then was kindled with the wrath, kindled the wrath of Elohim, or Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Bezite of the kindred of Ram. Against Job was his, now they're of Judah. So against Job was his wrath kindled because he justified himself rather than Elohim. He justified himself rather than Elohim. And also against his three friends was his wrath kindled because they had found no answer and yet had condemned Job. Now Elihu had waited till Job had spoken because there were elders than they were elder than he. When Elihu saw that there was no answering in the mouths of those three men, then his wrath was kindled. Meaning that he went on to expel what was going on. So now, all right, now we're going to go to here. What's that? 32 and 1. 32 and 1. All right, cool. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to speed it up a little bit. Like I said before, once I got through the small, or not the small parts, but certain parts, then I wanted to go ahead and just, I guess, expound on everything, the whole situation. Job humbles himself before Elohim. But let's go back one. All right, right here. Okay, no, this right here. Alahiah challenges Job. Then Alahiah answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, "Who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? Who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Where was thou when I had laid the foundations of the earth? Declare, if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measures thereof? If thou knowest, who hath stretched out thy line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of Elohim, all the heavenly luminaries sing together, when all the morning stars sing together, and all the heavenly luminaries, sons of God, shouted for joy by flashing and showing their bringing forth their lights, praising the Father, or who shut up the sea door, or the sea with doors, when it break forth, as if it had issued out of its womb? When I made the clouds the garment thereof, when I made the cloud the garment thereof, and the thickness of the swaddling band for it, the dark ring around the cloud, and break up for it my decree place, and set bars and doors. See, so basically, the father's like, Eve's like, man, who is this that's coming and talk to me like this? Talk, you darkening my counsel. You bringing in fault. You bringing these words of righteousness, and you talking, but like you could challenge me, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, the wicked might be shaken out of it. It is turned as clay to the seal, and they stand as garment, and from the wicked their light is withheld, and the high arm shall be broken. Have thou entered into the springs of the sea, or as thou walked in the search of the depth? Have the gates of death opened up? Have the gates of the death been opened unto thee? Or hast thou seen the doors of the shadow of death? Hast thou perceived the breadth of the earth? Declare if thou knowest it all. Declare if thou knowest it all. Where is the way where light dwelleth? And as for darkness, where is the place thereof? Meaning, like, where the darkness live? That thou shalt take it to the bound thereof. You could take darkness home, and that thou should have known the paths to the house thereof. Knowest thou it, because thou wasn't then born? Knowest thou it, because thou was then born? Or because the number of thy days is great? Hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow, or thou seen the treasures of the hail, which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle and war? But what way is the light parted? By what way is the light parted? Which scattereth the east wind upon the earth? Who hath divided a watercourse for the overflow of the overflowing of water, or a way for the lightning of thunder, or the way of lightning and thunder, to cause it to rain on the earth where no man is, on the wilderness wherein there is no man, to satisfy the desolate and waste grounds? And I mean, for real, he's going on them. He's like, and keep in mind, the father started all of this by saying to Job, who is this that darkeneth? Who is this that darkeneth camps? Like you want to talk to me about words without knowledge. You don't understand what you're talking about. Let's go a little further. Elohim speaks of his creation. Then he starts talking about all of the stuff that he brings, that he has made. I'll read some of it. Knowest thou the time when the wild goats and rocks bring forth, and canst thou mark when the hinds do call? Canst thou number the months that thy fulfill, or knowest thou the time when they bring forth? They bow themselves, they bring forth their young ones, they cast out their sorrows. I mean, really, the Father just, because the Father has deprived her of wisdom, the ostrich, she is, okay, and forgetteth that the foot of the crushing, all right, which leaveth her eggs, all right, givest thou, oh, the peacock or the winged feathers unto the ostrich. Yeah, the peacock or the ostrich. So then we're going to keep on pressing a little bit. He's talking about the creation, even Leviathan. I mean, really. And then it trips me out when he says it can have Leviathan and play with him. All right, let's because we're almost towards the end. I like that part right there. So let's go back. I think it's right here. Must have been in this one, this chapter here. Canst thou send lightnings that they may go and say unto thee, here we are? I mean, really, the Father is just like teed off and very sarcastic. He's like this, who are you? I wish I could. It's not that important. I just like that particular part when I read it about, can you play with Leviathan? Or was it Bohemian? I believe it was. I believe it was Bohemian. Then it would have been here. No, it's going back into that. So let's keep going. All right. So now we're going to hit. All right, we can start here. Job humbles himself before Elohim. Hallelujah. Moreover, Yahweh answered Job and said, shall he that cometh with the Almighty instruct them? Shall he contendeth with the Almighty instruct them? When you came to counsel him, now you're going to tell him what to do? Shall he that contendeth with the Almighty instruct him? He that reproveth Elohim, let him answer. And he's saying, you came to correct me? You came to reprove me, correct me? Then let him answer it. Then Job answered Yahweh and said, behold, I am vowed. What shall I answer thee? I will lay my hand upon my mouth. Once have I spoken, but I will not answer ye twice. But I will proceed no further. Then answered Yahweh unto Job out of the whirlwind and said, gird up thy loins like a man, and I will demand of thee, and declare unto me, and declare thou unto me. Wilt thou also disannul my judgment? Wilt thou condemn me? Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. Wilt thou condemn, wilt thou also disannul my judgment? Meaning the things that he've done to him? Wilt thou condemn me, that thou mayest be righteous? I mean, are you getting the picture of what my problem was then and what Job's problem is? I'll say this one more time. Wilt thou also disannul my judgment? Wilt thou condemn me, that thou mayest be righteous? Hast thou an arm like Elahiah, or canst thou thunder with a voice like him? Deck thyself with majesty and excellence, and array thyself with glory and beauty. Cast abroad the rage of thy wrath, and behold everyone that is proud, and abase him. Look on everyone that is proud, and bring him low, and tread down the wicked in their place. Hide them in the dust together, and bind their faces in secret. Then will I also confess unto thee that thy own right hand can save thee, that your own righteousness can save you. Just because you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, mean you have a point of righteousness. Yeah, you're on a good path. But don't think that it stops with your righteousness. Your righteousness also you have to have faith in the Father. Behold now Behemoth. Oh, here we go. Behold now Behemoth, which I made with thee. He eateth grass as an ox. Lo now, his strength is in his loins, and his force is in the navel of his belly. He moveth his tail like a cedar tree, or like a cedar. The sinews of his stones are wrapped together. His bones are strong pieces of brass. His bones are like bars of iron. He is the chief of the ways of Elahiah. He is the chief of the ways of Elahiah. He that made him can make his sword to approach unto him. He who made him, he can go to him. Surely the mountains bring him forth food, where all the beasts of the valley or the field play. He lieth under the shady trees, in the cover of the reed and the fence. The shady trees cover him with their shadow. The willow of the brook passes him about. Behold, he drinketh up river, and has not. He drinks up a river, and hasteth not. He trusteth that he can draw up Jordan into his mouth. He taketh it with his eyes. His nostrils pierce through snares. He made Leviathan, and he telling you can go pet Leviathan. Cast down to draw up Leviathan with a hook, or his tongue with a cord which thou lettest down. Canst thou put and hook into his nose, or bore his jaw through with the thorn? The Father can. Will he make many supplications unto thee? Will he speak of soft words unto thee? Will he make a covenant with thee? Will thou take him for a servant forever? Will Leviathan now? Wilt thou play with him as with a bird, or wilt thou bind him for thy madness, or for thy maidens? Wilt thou play with him as a bird, or wilt thou bind him for thy maidens? Shall the companions make a banquet for him? Shall they part him among the merchants? Canst thou fill his skin with barbed wires or barbed irons, or his head with fish spears? Lay down upon, lay down hand upon him. Remember the battle. Do not mourn. Behold, the hope of him is in vain. Shall not come one be cast down even at the sight of him? None is so fierce that dare stir him up. Who then is able to stand before me? If you can't, if you're scared to, none is so fierce that they stir him up. But who then is able to stand before me? He made Leviathan. Who hath prevented me that I should repay him? Whatsoever is under the whole heaven is mine. I will not conceal his part, nor his power, nor his comely proportion. Who can discover the face of his garment, or who can come to him with his double bride? Who can open the doors of his face? His teeth are terrible round about. His scales are as pride, shut up together as with a close seal. One is so near to another that no air can come up between them. They are joined one to another. They stick together. They, talking about his scales, they stick together that they cannot be sundered. But by his neasing a light doeth shine, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke, out of seething pot or cauldron. His breath kindled coals. A flame goeth out of his mouth. In his neck remaineth strength, and sorrow is turned into joy before him. The flakes of his flesh, he keeps going. Leviathan is just so vicious that the Father and his messengers play with him like he's a bird. That's what that maidens, yeah, it was messages actually, and they play with him like a bird. He beholdeth things. He is a king over all the children of pride. Leviathan. All right, let's go a little further. Okay, we're going close to the Father. Job submits himself to Elohim. Then Job answered Job answered Yahweh and said, I know that thou canst do everything, and that no thought can be withhidden from thee. And that's the key. Remember, Job felt righteous in his heart. I know thou canst do everything. And Job submits himself. He's confounded. Then Job answers Yahweh and says, I know that thou cast down everything. Canst do everything. And that no thought can be held from thee. I know that thou canst do everything, and that no thought can be withholden from thee. Who is he that hideth counsel without knowledge? Who is he that hideth counsel without knowledge? Therefore I have uttered that I understand not. I have uttered that I understood not things too wonderful for me, which I knew not. I beseech thee, and I will speak. I will demand of thee, or I will ask thee, and declare unto me. I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now mine eyes see. Wherefore I abhorred myself, I lifted up myself, and repented and dust and ashes. Job was self-righteous. Then the father goes on to rebuke the three friends. We could read what happened to them. And it was so that after Yahweh had spoken these words unto Job, that Yahweh said to Eliphaz the Temanite, my wrath is kindled against thee and against thy two friends, for ye have not spoken of me the things that is right, as my servant Job had. Therefore take up to now 7 bullocks and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job, and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering, and my servant Job shall pray for you. For him will I accept, lest I deal with you after your folly. And that ye have not spoken of me the things which is right, let my servant Job. So Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zipporah the Namathite went and did according as Yahweh commanded them. Yahweh also accepted Job. And then in the end, Job got back all his riches. He got more children, but not saying just because you got more children, it made everything better. It just, he was blessed with fruits to keep fulfilling the earth later on. So basically, Job repented for being self-righteous. And that's what a lot of individuals don't realize. A lot of individuals look past that particular point. They try to say good things happen to bad people and no, it doesn't. It was a reason Job went through what he went through. And Job's particular reason that he suffered the way he did, because the father had to beat him across his head. Like I said, I understand fully where Job comes from. And he had to be broken, damn near dead. Then he released that. He finally understood and professed and repented out of his mouth for being self-righteous. Yeah. So I'm going to close that out with the Shema. Shema, O Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad, Ve'ahavta, O ve'ahavta et Yahweh Eloheicha, V'chol Levavka, V'chol Neshefka, V'chol Mehodecha, et lo yakalet latir, Yahweh Hital. Dawadah Yahweh again for giving me this opportunity to talk to Mishpacha, family and friends. Most definitely, please, if you stuck around all of this time, I love you. Hope this was edifying, and please take the time out to hit the like, share, subscribe. It helps with the frequency of the video in order to promote the Father's word, and it's free. It's free. It's free. It's like, but it's free. And with that, stay prayed up, and like I said before, Dawadah Bahashem, Dawadah Yahweh Bahashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shah Uvein Barakatah Ruach Kodeshecha. Hope you had a blessed Sabbath day, and stay prayed up, stay in peace, and be careful out there. People crazy. So in the world, the heathens are gone, just totally crazy. So be alert. Most definitely, peace to all, and stay blessed.